And we are live, guys. Cheers. It's 10:16 p.m. where I live, so quite the evening time. Bought some beer on a whim, and we are like coding as usual. I think yesterday I streamed for a bit doing like the mouse thingy, and I mean, we are almost there. There is only one thing that it's worthwhile to discuss, and that is, I think, the conservation of momentum. So basically, when scrolling in the same direction, okay, right now I simply reset the wheel raw value and the wheel start and the wheel virtual. But what I would like to do is what I would like the users to be able to configure is like, instead of doing this, you just increment basically the current value by the new value. Okay, so this is what I want, or at least this is what I think you should be able to configure. Preserve momentum. Set wheel. The problem is that when you set the wheel, shift F12, this thing right here gets called here, and yes, I can class up. We're vibing today. We also have music, some synthwave, update FPS data, yeah, mouse config and mouse config, and in our constructor fantastic. The damp mode, and we also have the preserve momentum too. Bypass the mouse config. Oops. And input tracker. Our input tracker gets the mouse config, and our input tracker and mouse states. Come on. Wheel row is the wheel row. The wheel virtual, if I want to present momentum, is plus equals the static cast float the wheel row, while if you're not preserving the momentum, so if you are preserving the momentum, you increment by the wheel row, the current with virtual by the wheel row. If you're not preserving the momentum, then you set the wheel virtual to the wheel row, and regardless, the wheel virtual start gets assigned, like it's the wheel virtual at that moment, and the last wheel event time in seconds is that one. Now this should work. Fantastic. works. So it's something like this. It's slower at the start and faster at the end. While the square root is faster at the start and slower at the end. Yeah, faster at the start and slower at the end makes more sense. What if here, like, if, so, the with virtual, if we want to present momentum, if, so we set the virtual, the with virtual to, if the with virtual, way to check at the same sign. Okay, so fantastic. So if the with virtual less than 0, is different from does it matter? Does it matter? Does it matter? Oh boy, it's almost done. Yeah, not bad, not bad. So, what was I doing? Yeah, same sign. Does it really matter? Let's say. Let's put it to what if greater than 0. So this means that they are both positive, because negative times negative is positive. Positive times positive is positive. Any other way, so if one is negative and the other is positive, it will be negative. Okay. So that's the smart way to check whether or not two values, two numbers have the same sign. If they have the same sign, then okay, so if they have the same sign, and thus we just do this. Otherwise, they have, and thus we just set it. This would be only if will is in the same as the otherwise just set the okay. Oops. So I think this may be useful for later or for some edge cases. Okay. So that's basically it. Conservation or preservation? It's the conservation. Conserve momentum. Something will break, of course. Let's go. Yeah, that's basically it. Fantastic. Fantastic. virtual mouse wheel momentum conservation comment. Okay, fantastic. We finally managed to finish the mouse thingy. Looking very good. And what do we do now? We should probably to do like let's say yeah, factor out RTS camera code. Camera logic, like to do the L on my keyboard like is a little flaky. Update. Cut the camera. Track presentation. That will be lower than the cameraman height, of course. Now, another aspect that as of right now just forgot about it. It's like, okay, cool, we have our sort of semi-professional RTS camera. What I would like to have is like actually rendering something more interesting that a flat textured mesh. In particular, I would like to have I would like to add a whole other dimension of depth to the things we render. And how do we do it with lighting, basically? So let's commit add some to-dos. Need the lighting. Before doing anything else, I need the lighting. And I know the perfect resource from which we can get our lighting code, which is learn OpenGL lighting. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole tutorial because I went through it like a thousand times, and the best way to learn about this topic is to just go through it, read it. It's not hard, like it's very simple, the lighting technique that is presented here, but it's incredibly effective. And this is one of the things that I like the most, is because you do very little work to get a lot of the results. I'm not following it 100%, okay? So basically, yeah, I mean I'm not going to go through it or let's say adhere with it, okay, 100%, because right here you have your basic lighting, and it's divided between ambient, diffuse, Here's the normal, the specular lighting with the highlights. You have your specular highlights. I'm not gonna have specular lighting. Okay, so I'm not gonna have specular lighting as a style. Sorry, I was doing a burp, but then no burping. So I'm not. I don't want the specular highlight kind of thing as an art, as a statement of my own programmer art. So not having specular, but I'm obviously having like the diffuse, and the diffuse lighting is basically like in the engine I'm thinking about having point lights, and the presence of a spotlight of a point light is what like contributes to diffuse lighting. Okay. So that's the idea, and then you have your ambient lighting, and your ambient lighting is basically a setting, okay, of the scene, or like a property of the scene that you can adjust however you want. Okay. So you have your ambient lighting, that's a property of the scene, of the level, basically. Then you have your diffuse. Your diffuse will be like computed using directional lighting, and this one will be a property of the scene, of the level, like modeling the sun or the moon. And then the other contributor to diffuse lighting are spotlights, basically. And we do not have specular lighting. Yeah, we do not have specular lighting. That's basically it. Here, I'm not gonna do the material because basically the ambient will be just a color. The diffuse will be the property of the diffuse would be the diffuse. It's basically a property of my object will have a color depending on the texture, and then that color will be mixed with the light's color. That's it, basically. And so the specular, no specular, shininess. We don't have the specular, so no shininess. Oh, lighting maps. Yeah, obviously we have these diffuse maps, or like color textures. No specular maps because we don't have specular lighting. Okay. Light casters, we do the directional light, the sun or the moon, basically, and then we'll do the point light. With the point light, we'll work through like some easier sort of attenuation, more like controllable, more programmatic attenuation, basically. Something like that at a fixed distance would be properly zero. And like I don't want these parameters are stupid. I want like my light. I don't seek realism. Okay, I don't really care about realism. We are in a game. Reality is perfectly outside, reproduced outside your screen. So it's useless to try to replicate reality inside the screen, inside the computer. Okay. In graphics, why do you want to replicate reality? Yeah, of course, there are some like obviously scenarios, but in games you don't really want to replicate the reality on a strict level. What you want to do is to replicate the idea that your players, your viewers have of reality. That's two completely different things, even though they slightly overlap. Okay, like one is to the first is to pedantically replicate everything, okay, to a fault, and the second is to just get the vibe, just get like a vibe check of reality, okay, and your user says, oh yeah, it makes sense. So in that case, your thinking, your program has actually passed the users, the player's vibe check. Otherwise, you should like correct your course, basically. Do something different. No spotlights. I don't think they are more complicated than they are worth, and usually like I don't really care. And I mean, the game is real-time tactics, medieval sort of, not modern. Game, so I don't really feel the need to have a spotlight, basically. I could change my view on the subject, on that, maybe for like some choreography we'll be getting a spotlight. We may have that, but as of right now I don't feel like it's necessary. On the topic of multiple lights, I was thinking of like doing a forward renderer, so nothing really fancy. Why? Because it's simpler and it's easier to do, and if you do it right, it's still reasonably fast. Well, God, it's kinda hot. To be honest, good beer. I like it. I'm not usually a beer person, but I got like the last beer I actually drank was like in April, maybe. Yeah, on Easter. So I just like wanted a beer to have some fun with you guys, even though no one is watching, but I hope someone will be watching in the future, so I just wanted to have a beer, and this was the perfect excuse. And now the beer is finished, is over. Now we go back to water. Yes, I swear this is water. So yeah, that's the plan basically. That's basically the plan. So multiple lights. I'm conflicted here. I could have like one object be lit by a single point light. That would incredibly simplify things. And honestly, I said honestly, for starters, is not a bad idea. For starters, let's just go with it. Okay, let's just go with it. Then we can worry about other things later. Okay, but let's just roll with it. We could also do some stylized like with fake point lights. Like using a texture to basically fake point lights, but like I don't think that's a good idea. I don't really think it's a really good idea, at least to do it. Because I wanted to like yeah, the night attack. The night attack. No, this is not the one. What is happening? No, assassination to the Pope. Like, are you serious? Night attack gameplay? I don't know, bro. Like, fantastic. It's really not that visible, which if like oh yeah. Like, are these point lights or are these like spotlights? I don't know. Are these like fake lights that are just flickering textures. Apart from the fact that they spawn a single light, but for more units, of course. Like, these lights are probably fake. They are just projected onto the terrain, I think. And then they have like one huge point light per not per soldier but per unit, because otherwise like these are not lit, that they do not emit lighting. Yeah, they probably are casting a texture that sorta simulates the light basically coming from the torch, but it's probably just a texture on the terrain, you know. I would love to see how that light interacts with the environment, because I think yeah, that's probably how they do it. That's probably how they do it. Yeah. You can see it here. That's how they probably do it. They don't have a spotlight here. They just use the same technique. So just project onto the terrain some sort of light texture, basically. That's probably how they do it. Yeah, because like so if we try to do the same technique, I think we don't even need point lights at that point. Sorry for the play of words, but yeah, like you can, yeah. That's the perfect example. Like this, if like snip, like if like you see that if the unit had basically a sort of point light, huge point light above them, these gates would be lit. These gates would be lit, but they are not lit because, oh well, they are actually lit though. Oh my god. They are are lit. Are they faking it? Because here it's lit. Yeah, but it's not a classic point light. Come on, it's not a classic. Like here, like you can see something like this. And also here, like this. But there is very sharp contrast. Very sharp contrast. This is a better shot. Like you see it like right here. And likewise you see it like right here. Probably they just lit up it's interesting. We should really try to understand here, like you can see that sort of lighting in the distance. They maybe are spotlights though. Are they spotlights? I don't think they are spotlights. Oh, this is Rome Total War though, not medieval. Yeah, I think they paint the terrain. That's what I think. Maybe wrong. Maybe wrong, but what I think is that they painted the terrain. That's probably what happens. I don't know how they do like the hmm. like here. Wait. Okay, so let's like the lighting changes. So in some way the lighting changes, in some way the lighting changes. That's for sure. Maybe they apply the lighting you can clearly see that there is something here going on. I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting just like because just like a case study, okay? Just for I'm interested in the walls. You can see there is some sort of lighting also applied to the walls. But I don't know why. Like, I don't know how. Why? I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how. Because you see, like this thing right here. This. Oops. This thing right here. Like here you can clearly see very black. Not really. Oh yeah. Yeah. This. Like, okay. Like this. This is perfect. This is the sort of perfect that I want. Like you can clearly see that you have something like this. there is some sort of way. How? How do you do it? How do you do it? And how should we do it? Should we fake it, or should we try to use like a point light and what happens with multiple point lights? I mean, it's like this and this, clear difference. When the player selects a unit, it's like, yeah, the unit gets like lit up. But that's not the only case, because right here, oh my god, the unit is lit up. Right here, no, not really. Why? In this case, the unit doesn't lit up the terrain. Here, the unit does lit up the terrain. I don't know. I'm sort of confused. I'm sort of confused. Why some units lit up while other units are not lit up? Why? Why some parts of the wall are lit while like you can clearly see here, like it's lit up inside, but it's not lit up outside. So, how? I think it's worth to like consider, do a little bit of thinking before going through the whole lighting thingy, or at least don't spend too much time on it, because honestly like there is no particular how do you deal with multiple lights? Well, I don't know. One, maybe it's a bit too restrictive. Two, I think it's a good middle ground. Three, I don't know. Four, it's definitely like on the larger side. Oh, okay. Come on, let's call it a night. I'm a little bit tired, and honestly, we. So, you see here the difference before and after. So you can clearly see that there is something here and here. We are lighting the whole thing. And see here it's lit, here is not lit. So yeah, there are some things that you should consider, especially on how to do the lighting. info, of course. Okay guys, let's call it a day, or let's call it a night. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. Have a good night.